Welcome back to the Arkitect Fitness YouTube channel. My name is Tony, and in this video, I'm going to teach you one thing you can change about your nutrition right now to start seeing better results. Now, most diets or dieting gurus want you to remove a food or food group from your nutrition, whether that be carbs, sugars, processed foods, or meats. But I want you to add something in. Actually, it's something you're probably already eating, just not enough of, and that is protein. This probably comes as no surprise, but it has been my experience over many years that most people, especially exercisers, aren't getting enough protein. In this video, we're going to cover why protein is important, about how much of it you should be eating, and a good way to get more of it in. So let's get started. You probably know that protein is important, and I don't have enough time to go over all the reasons why it is, so we're just going to hit the major points. First and foremost, proteins are the building blocks of muscles. When you exercise, you are essentially causing micro damage or micro trauma to your muscle tissue. And this signals your body to repair the tissue. And when the tissue is repaired, hopefully they come back firmer, bigger, and stronger. But if you don't have the proper nutrients in your body to make those repairs, you aren't really going to get that much out of your training. So why waste your time and effort in the gym if you can't maximize your results? So that is the first reason why protein is so important. The second reason is that protein is muscle sparing. So most of the people watching these videos want to lose body fat, but losing fat and maintaining muscle can be very difficult. Usually when you lose weight, some of the weight comes from body fat and some of the weight comes from muscle. I haven't met anyone yet that actually wants to lose muscle, so with that in mind, eating a protein-rich diet can help minimize the amount of muscle you lose when you're dieting and in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. Number 3, protein is extremely thermogenic. What that means is you burn a lot of calories by eating and digesting protein. In fact, much more so than you would from eating carbs and fats. That doesn't mean that protein foods are free foods or free calories, but that does mean you can eat more calories from protein than you can from carbs and fats and maintain or lose weight. The next reason why protein is so important is because of satiety, which is a fancy word that means eating a protein-rich diet can help you feel more satisfied. And one of the biggest obstacles when you're in a calorie deficit to lose body fat is feeling hungry and having cravings. Now, willpower will take you a certain distance, but eventually most people will crack. So the best way to avoid that is by feeling satisfied, and a protein-rich diet can help you do that. Now that we've covered the major points of why protein is important, let's talk about how much you need. And this is hotly debated in the fitness and nutrition world, with some people saying as little as 40 or 50 grams per day, and some people making claims like 2 grams per pound of body weight per day. What we've found and what science has shown is the leaner you are, the more closely equated your body weight will be to how many grams of protein you need. If you're overweight or obese, you won't need more just because you're heavier. For example, there was a point in time where I weighed 315 pounds, but most of that was body fat, which is a non-contractile tissue, so it doesn't really make sense that I would have to eat 315 grams of protein or more. What we recommend as a bare minimum is 1.6 grams per kilo of body weight. So if you haven't already, convert your body weight into kilos by dividing it by 2.2, and then multiply that number by 1.6. In other words, if I was a 220 pound man, I would weigh 100 kilograms, and I would take 100 and multiply by 1.6, meaning at minimum I would be eating 160 grams of protein per day. Now, how much protein you should be eating can vary quite a bit based on the type of exercise you do, how often you exercise, and a bunch of other factors, but the 1.6 per kilo of body weight is a good place to start. That leaves us to the last point, which is how do you get more protein into your diet? Well, as I mentioned before, most people don't get enough. And if you get this recommendation and it's so far away from what you're eating now, take it day by day and try to slowly increase the amount that you eat. And what I'm going to recommend is something that's a little bit controversial, which is protein shakes. At Arkitect Fitness, we use transparent labs, and there's a few reasons for that. Number 1, there aren't a lot of ingredients in it, which we like. Number 2, the macros are great with 0 grams of fat, 1 gram of carbs, and 28 grams of protein per serving. And also, people think the taste is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
There are people out there that believe you should get all of your protein from whole foods, and I think if you can do that, that is definitely the way to go. But with that said, you are better off increasing your protein via something like a protein shake than not hitting your protein because you're trying to only get your protein from whole foods. Now, if your nutrition is a complete mess, simply increasing your protein is not going to solve all of your problems. But it has been my experience that people who even keep a very detailed food log and pay attention to their calories and their macros often struggle with hitting their protein. And aside from total calories, getting enough protein is probably the most important factor in your nutrition to see the results that you want to see from your exercise. So start with your protein, get a handle on that, and once you become an expert at hitting your protein, then you can start worrying about the other nutritional factors. We do have other videos about how to hit your protein, but some of the basics are eat bigger protein-based servings when you do eat them. So for example, if you normally have 3 ounces of chicken at lunch, bump that up to 5 or 6 ounces. If you normally have 1 egg at breakfast, have 2 eggs at breakfast. And of course, and this sounds kind of like a duh moment, but simply eat more protein-rich foods throughout the day. So if you only have a quality protein source at lunch, try having one at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It will all add up and you will over time get better at hitting that protein number. Adding a protein shake to your diet is a great way to add more protein without adding additional carbs and fats. For example, if you were about a 160-pound woman, that means you would be eating roughly about 115 grams of protein per day. 1 serving of that Transparent Labs protein would get you almost 25% of your daily protein needs in 1 protein shake, and that is without any additional carbs or fats. So that's a really good option for most people. Protein shakes are also really fast, convenient, you can take them with you, and super easy to make. So they're just a big help for people who are on the run and struggling to hit their protein. To help you out, we're also going to include a protein cheat sheet in the links below, and that's going to show you what you can eat if you need proteins and carbs, proteins and fats, or just proteins by themselves. I'm Tony with Arkitect Fitness. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.